Hi everyone. This video is about how to use PrepDNA effectively. PrepDNA was something that we launched several months back, and it's been one of the most effective and most used features on PPG so far. Tens of thousands of users use it every week, and many benefit a lot from it. Still, I feel there are several others, and I know this because so many people have reached out to me who don't understand it completely. These series of videos will tell you a lot about PrepDNA and how to use it most effectively. And a part of that learning what is effective, we'll be looking into how some others are using it. Now, I'm going to keep it anonymous, but there's no better way to understand how to use it than to see others. And I will try to show you who we feel will end up in the top 50 ranks, to top 500 ranks, to the top 5,000 ranks, and looking at all of these people's performance and how each one of them could be using PrepDNA. I'm hoping that will help you out too, to understand how to use it effectively. Now, before go deep into that, I wanted to tell you a little bit about why PrepDNA. Why did we make this feature? Pre-PG is a part of MCQDB, and our vision is that every diligent student should be successful. And that's what we want to help out with. And diligence is about sincerity and hard work. And if anyone is sincere, committed, and is ready to work hard, we want to give that person every tool possible to be successful in a test. That's what we try to do with PrepDNA and all the analytics. You might wonder why we focus on analytics. The answer is simple. Besides giving you free content, which will always be free on PrePG, we believe that analytics like PrepDNA, daily progress, etc., is what will give you the insights and the edge to be successful in a test like NEET PG, in any competitive test. And that's what we want to get to you. I think it's that data and those insights that will help you the most. All right, so let's dive into it. Some of the questions that I get a lot about PrepDNA. First is, what is the order of questions? This one is fairly simple. We start from the left to the right, from the subject you're weakest in to the subject you're strongest in. The order will remain the same if you go down into the subject. So if you click in many of the subjects, it's going to tell you all the way from your weaknesses to your strengths within the subject. All right, so that's about the order. Now, what about the width of each one of these things? The width is proportional to the importance of the specific subject in NEET PG. It's about directionally the order of importance for other tests too, but it's primarily for NEET PG because that's where we focus on the most. What do these colors mean? I feel this is the most important thing because NEET PG is a competitive test and it is about knowing your performance relative to others. And what's happening here is, let's look at anesthesia, for example, for this doctor. This shows that for about 5 to 10% of topics here, he or she is in the top 5 percentile, maybe even the top 2 percentile. Then another, like a majority of anesthesia, this person is in the top 10 percentile. Why does that matter? It tells you how strong you are relative to others. And that's all that matters in a competitive test. On the other hand, if you go to the other side, this tells you that almost all of anatomy, this person is between 50 to 70th percentile, which is not very good. So there is scope for improvement in anatomy. Now let's take a look at some of the other stats that we have on this page. So right below PrepDNA, we have the daily progress, which basically tells you your level of preparation as opposed to other people who are on the platform. It's an effort to tell you how ready you are. How do we calculate this? We try to do it on the basis of 1, your PrepDNA, that is how prepared you are, what's your proficiency, and 2, the amount of coverage, that is the number of questions you've attempted on the platform, which essentially means that early on in your history, you'll start with a very low readiness index. And why is that? Because very early on, we do not have enough information to say how ready you are. Now going on, the next piece over here is something that I'm surprised is not there in many other platforms. And this is the most important thing in the new pattern of NEET PG and DNB and other tests like these, which in today's world, in the new NEET PG, if you get an easy question wrong, That's just not acceptable. You have a competitive disadvantage as opposed to other people who will get the easy question right. And remember, the definition of an easy question here is the other people in the test will solve right. So if you're getting it wrong, you are just putting yourself in a very bad position. So what should you focus on in this chart? The first thing that you should care about is easy questions and moderate questions. I would say you have to get above 90% that this doctor is getting easy questions right, and moderate questions should be better. So he or she is getting about 63%. This should be above 75 to 80%. And then hard are the things that you will do well in the subjects that you are well prepared, that you are really strong with. And very hard is, I would say, is a toss up. It's very unlikely. These are the tricky questions that are designed for you to get wrong, and even the toppers get it wrong. So if you're very well prepared in some subject, like you're exceptionally good, you'll get it right. Otherwise, you won't. So what matters is you get the easy and the moderate questions right. Just focus on those to start with, and later in the preparation, you can focus more on hard questions for the few subjects that you're good at. So that's the intention of this chart. And then going on to problems attempted, it tells you like this person has attempted like from 1,000 to 1,300, 1,500 questions in a week. That's not too much, but it's a decent amount. Majority of the people who do well on the platform do more than this. And finally, the correct problem streaks is just to tell you how many questions you got right at a go. One thing to notice about this person here is that they have been on the platform for a while, and you can see a steady improvement. It's not as steep as it should be. So there is some gap in the preparation. Maybe it is this phase when they did not practice much. But if you continue to practice regularly, you certainly see the curve just going upward. And another thing to note is that if you go into any one of the subjects, so let's say skin, and this whole thing just repeats itself. So first of all, PrepDNA will go left to right, weak to strong, and you see their progress over time. This must be a time, I bet, that they focused on one of their weak subjects and just improved a lot on them. Overall success by difficulty and problems attempted and so on and so forth. Now, one thing to note is that the success by difficulty is something that we calculate for the very recent past, in the last day or so of questions you have solved. It won't consider questions you've solved, say, a month back, unless that's the most recent for this subject. So keep that in mind, that success rate by difficulty takes care of the most recent questions you have attempted and how well you've done in them.